So, hi, everybody. Welcome back to the E3 podcast. I'm excited to have my friend Nina on today. Welcome.
Hi.
Would you like to share let's just jump right in and just talk about who you are and what you're doing and
Yes,
where you're at.
absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. So, yes, my name's Nina. I am the owner of a company called Boldly & Co. And my company is rooted in productivity. So basically what we do is we help other companies and entrepreneurs and individuals really get clear on where they're going, how to make a plan to get there, and then we teach them all these amazing, efficient and effective ways on how to implement their plans. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. We have awesome tools that go with all of our coaching and things like that. Like we have a productivity planner, and it's just fun. Honestly, one of the biggest joys of my life is to have this company, and it's something that gives me a lot of energy, and I feel like it's what I was made to do. So it feels good. Yeah.
Love that. So I'm curious, how did you, what got you into the whole productivity thing? Was it born from a need that you had yourself, or was it just something are you like a super organized person and you just like that sort of thing? Or
it was both. So I am naturally a very organized person. My brain thinks about efficiencies and dependencies. It's very project manager oriented. So I actually thought that everyone was just wired that same way. And as I got out of college and into the corporate world and becoming a project manager, I realized wait, not everybody actually has this skill of being able to break down an idea into all the little components and then know how to actually implement it. So that was kind of the first part. But you also mentioned why did you really have to create this company? It was honestly out of complete desperation. So when I was in the corporate world, I was traveling. I worked in the tech space, specifically within healthcare and hospital tech. And I would go out all over the country. I'd fly to work every single week, wherever, whichever healthcare organization I was working at. And I would help hospitals and hospital presidents develop their tech strategy and their business strategy. And we'd implement that. We'd create these big plans with big teams. And it was awesome. But the problem that came up for me was I was completely overworked. I was working 60, 70 hours a week. I traveled every week, Sunday through Friday night at 11 p.m.
Oh, wow.
I had one day off. And, the projects we were on, these are $25 million projects, $100 million projects. And what you're faced with is this pressure. If you don't get it right, you could cost a patient's life, right? If you can't get these systems to talk to each other, that's a big problem. So there was always this intense pressure. And it really started to affect me in some major ways. It was affecting my mental health. I was starting to have panic attacks and develop major migraines and back pain that have never gone away since. And I kept thinking why isn't my company helping me do better? Why aren't they showing me how to do what I've got to do, but in less time, or to be more productive? And here's me, I'm already an organized, efficient person. Mm-hmm. So I was just why isn't anyone helping me? And basically, to literally rescue myself and my mental health, I was I've got to create something that makes me better, because I think I'm going to lose it. And it's funny, whenever I tell people that, I'm always oh my God, what are they thinking? Do they think I'm some crazy person? But what's interesting is that I know this doesn't just affect me. What I experienced in the corporate world, and with this constant pressure to do well and do things quickly and under budget and all that stuff, that affects a lot of people out there. And so I spent 2 years while I was still working, researching and developing methods on productivity and well-being and things like that. And I kind of developed this system that I then applied to myself. And it was like, once I got the system down and got it right, it was like the next day, it was like a miracle occurred. It
Oh,
was like
wow.
my stress was going away. The day felt easy. I was in control. It was like, oh my God, like I'm doing something right here. And the next thing that happened was about a year after that, I got promoted to be the leader of the team that I was on. And we started with like 25 people, and everybody on my team had been like me, right? Like I walked into this very broken team of overworked, stressed out consultants that were like hanging on by a thread. You know, their mental health was hanging on by a thread, basically. And I
Hmm.
started applying the system that I had created. And within 24 months, I saw our team grow by 500%. We increased revenue by 600%, and we had a
Wow.
96% retention rate. And in the world of consulting, and especially at this time with healthcare tech, people left to go anywhere. You'd go and chase the next big dollar because a company, you'd make so much money, you could go chase another 30,000, 40,000 like in an instant, and no one would, bat an eye. And to know that we had 96% retention, like no one wanted to leave the team. I kept going, okay, whatever this system is, like it literally performed a miracle in my life. I applied it to my team here, and we saw us grow and have these like massive results, and no one wants to leave, and everyone is happy and healthy. And like, I'm doing something right.
That's
So,
amazing.
yes, I mean, like literally, it formed out of utter desperation and being like, why isn't someone helping me? Like, why is my company just telling me to like work more and do more and you'll get through it? Like, I'm like literally get riled up thinking about it because I'm like, you should have helped me and you didn't. And I honestly believe that like how a leader and how a company should be is you take care of your people. And
Hmm.
when you take care of your people well and in really meaningful ways that contribute to their life, not just the company's bottom dollar, what you get back is like an amazing loyalty and amazing culture and health. And of course, the end result is productivity. You
Right.
produce more in less time for less money. Like you just get all these benefits. So yeah, so that's how the system was born out of desperation. And then 2 years ago, I thought, I'm going to create a company out of this. And so my husband and I planned our money very carefully, and I left the corporate world and started Boldly & Co. And it has been, honestly, I like know I'm on the right path because it feels so good. Like even the menial stuff, the little stuff about the company, it feels good. I'm like, I'm here for it.
I love that. It's like you're in your zone, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
love
And
that. When you find that thing that you're so passionate about, and it really doesn't feel like work, does it? You probably
yeah,
love getting up every day doing what you do, right?
I do. And you know, I've tried many things because in my, I know like people hear other people and they're like, wow, they just reached success. But that's really not the truth. Like
Hmm.
while I was in my corporate career, I have tried many things because I knew I wanted to be the boss. I knew I wanted to be my own boss. I knew I wanted to do some kind of coaching or education, but I like didn't know exactly what. So I've tried lots of things that have not worked. But the whole time I feel like I knew this was what I should be doing, and I just wasn't brave enough to do it. And then finally one day I said like, look, this is authentically who I am. Like I love productivity and planning and helping people dream and break it into something like really tactical and practical. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to bring that to the world, but I've got to do it. So that's kind of how it all started.
That's so fun. And I love that journey too. I think the best things are always born from a need that you yourself usually have,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of, that was part of my why for starting to do what I'm doing, doing real estate for so long and then moving more into like a coaching kind of space. And I'm still even working on what that even completely looks like.
Yeah.
But you just know when something's right. And so the journey to get there can be kind of,
Yes.
all over the place. But then once you start getting more clear as you're like working towards this thing where it's like, okay, I know like that's not exactly what I want to do, but if I can take this thing that I love and like turn it into something that I can build and, enjoy
Yeah.
and provide for my family with this, like I feel like that's probably the greatest thing ever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm personally right now, so I'm 37 years old and I'm on a track to retire by the time I'm 40. And I said, like, I've made this goal a long time ago, and I've been working really, really hard at that. And that's to retire myself at 40, and my husband, he would be 38 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But our goal isn't to really retire, it's to have the option of retirement. I like, there is this thing, like, I want a choice.
Right.
And, as soon as you like get done with school, whether it's high school or it's college, and you go and get a job, it's like, you feel like you don't have a choice. You just have to keep working, and you get in this like vicious cycle of your life being shaped by a job.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that we do in Boldly, which I love, it's like one of my favorite exercises, is specifically with like business owners or people that are wanting to like make major career jumps or something like that. We do an exercise where we start them with, what's your life vision?
Mm-hmm.
And we do that, like you'd mentioned your reason why. This would be a very clear, specific exercise into your reason why. And we really dive into like, 20 different areas of your life. Like, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we do that is because, okay, like I just mentioned, like a lot of people's lives are shaped by a job. So they create a business or they get going in a job, and then every part of their life has to react to the job. Like, you get time off to be with your family because of what your job tells you. You get time to travel or experience things or be sick based on the number of days that your job gives you, or how much energy you have, or whatever it is. And it's like, to me, I feel like you need to envision your life, your personal life. Like, what do you really want for it? And it should be like exciting and scary and give you this like strange, intense energy. And then you say, right, like, well, what do I do then for a job or a business that supports that life vision? So
Right.
to me, that's like extremely important. But anyhow, yeah,
I
I think I
agree.
just
And
went on a tangent.
no, that, I mean, it's so true. And I do the same thing with coaching clients, because I just do one-on-one stuff, but that is always where I start too. It's like, let's start with why. Like, why do you want to do this?
Yes.
What is the vision of for your life in all aspects of your life? What does it feel like? What does it look like? How are you going to feel once you do X, Y, Z, whatever it is that you want
Yeah.
to do? And the
Yeah.
great thing, is like that. I love the reverse engineering of that, right? So it's like, okay, well, I want to do this like one big, like, here's the vision for my life. Cause that's really what it is, right? You're casting a
Yeah.
vision out there of like your whole life, because your whole life isn't just your work.
Right. And
There's
that's what
so many other
happens, right?
parts to that.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happens is your work does become your entire life, because no one's ever told you or taught you that you can dream. Like, for me, like, I come from a very, like, I know my parents told me, like, you can be anything, like, I know they were
Mhm.
very like positive people, but it was also like, here's the path. You
Mhm.
graduate from high school, and then you must go to college, and then you must get a job and be able to support yourself. And right? Like, it was just like, here's the must. It wasn't like, go to college and dream. And what do you want for your life? And where do you want to go? It was like, people just don't talk like that. They don't teach you about that. I'm sure some families do, but I honestly think probably 99% of families don't,
I
or
think
like,
especially people our age, right? Like we
right.
didn't our because I feel like self-development is such a bigger topic now than it was before, but your
Right.
parents sound very similar to mine. Like they didn't grow up, we didn't talk about mindset or, things like that. It was the same thing. It was like, here's the plan, because that's how they were raised by a
Yeah.
whole different generation of, you work hard, you get a really good
You save
job, you
every
get the
penny.
security. Yeah. And then then you can have your life after you retire, and then you die like 3 years later because like, you worked your butt off your whole life and never like rested.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so
And
it's dangerous. It's dangerous to
it
get
is
locked
dangerous.
into
Well, and the other thing
that
too is,
life.
our generation is a lot different in the sense that I don't know that we can certainly depend on, um, for example, like the government to take care of us when we're older with Social Security. I don't know that that's really going to be there. So I'm scared to depend on it. Or same with,
Mhm.
like a lot of people had pensions. You were guaranteed a pension. That was part of a loyalty that a company guaranteed you. I don't know. I maybe know like one or two people, seriously, one or two people, probably out of the hundreds or thousands that I know that have a pension and that are, like around my age. So I'm like, it just doesn't exist. And so I feel like, we come from a mindset that's like, we've got to take care of ourselves as much as possible. So
It's all about
yeah. So
security, I think. It's
yeah.
that. And then but then, you have that, and I'm not saying that's like a bad thing necessarily, but it's almost a sad thing because if
Yeah.
you just go and like you get this job and it's a great job. And I can't tell you how many people that I talk to, like they hate their job, but they go
Yeah.
every day. I look at my poor dad, like I don't know how he does it. Literally, he's worked at the same place since I think 1980.
Yeah.
And he gets up every day at the same time, eats breakfast at the same time every day, drives to the same place every day for like till now, however long that's been, 40 something years. And
Right.
I think to myself, like, I understand it was like out of a need to provide for the family and everything, but it's like, did you have a dream about anything?
Yeah.
Like there was no thought. And I don't know if that's like a generational thing or what, but it's definitely something that I have thought a lot about in having kids and teaching them about, like, if they don't want to go to college, I'm not forcing them to go. I mean, they're
My
going,
yes.
but
Same
they don't have
conversation in
to.
our household. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like if you're not ready for that, then you're not. You take the time. I would rather them take a year or two off and figure out what they want to do, try some different things, maybe intern somewhere if they think they're interested in something, than just jump into going to college and have, like, what do you know when you're 18? How can you pick a career when you're that age? You don't know anything. And then they get
What's funny is
stuck in it.
yes. And, now that I'm, like I said, I'm 37, I feel like I know some things about myself now that I didn't fully grasp or understand when I was having to go to college or, choose where I was going to go to college or what school within the college was I going to be in. And, for me, I just knew like, well, I like being the boss. And so I'm going to go to business school. But some things that I'm like genuinely passionate and interested in are psychology, the science of argument. Like I think I could be a great attorney. But like there's things where I'm like, I didn't even understand the career paths that went along with those things. And I also didn't understand that those were things that I was good at or was passionate about until like probably I was in like my late 20s.
Hmm.
So, and I think like, so you'd mentioned, like your dad for the safety of the family and security with the family, it's like he's chosen this route and it was the right route, but he does the same thing every day. I saw my dad do the exact same thing. And the justification, that he provides is like, well, we don't need to want for any more.
Hmm.
And I agree with that. Like, I agree that like we should be grateful for what we have and we should live in the present moment. But frankly, I do want for more. I do want for options. I do want for, major wealth. I do want to be able to give back to my community in more ways than, like, for me, that's one of my major driving reasons why.
Mhm.
And for my husband, it's the same thing. So it's nice because we're kind of like a team on that one, which is we want to keep working upon the time that we optionally retire in a few years, because we want to be able to make money just to massively give back to our community. To be like, oh, here's not $100 check in my time, which is, like how we give now,
Right.
but I want to be like, here's $100,000 this year, or here's, like, that's what I want to give back to. And so we've got like a specific plan. And to me, that's like, yes, we absolutely need to think about the security of our family and financial safety of our family and things like that. But at the point where I don't have to worry about those things, man, do I have some dreams that I want to get
Yeah.
to.
And that's what's the great thing I think about being an entrepreneur is like we do these things, but it's never, sometimes it's not the thing that we're doing. It's like it's what it allows us, right?
Yes.
For in the future,
Yep.
so I'm sure you enjoy your business right now and everything, but like you said, there is more to it than just that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
how, and I think that's like every successful person, like always asking yourself, how will I give back? Who will I
Yeah.
help? Who will I serve? Um, and I think that plays into like your business and how you're running things and just
Mhm.
like all of that stuff. And like, this is kind of a tangent, but like, I don't want to wake up one day, like 20 years from now and be like, where the hell did my life go? Like, what have I been doing all this
Yeah.
time? That's really
Exactly.
depressing. It's, because we're not promised anything, and
Yeah.
that's, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, and what's going to
Yeah.
happen? What's your legacy? How did you live your life? And did you do what made you happy, or did you go out every day and just do something because you felt like you needed to do it and you never took a chance? You weren't bold. I
Yeah.
love the name of your company because
Thanks.
that's like a bold move to go completely from one thing to something totally different. That must have been really scary. Like, can you share kind of what that was like that transition point, like the quitting of all that safety and going into
Yeah.
this passion project sort of thing?
Yes. So actually, I went on vacation. So let's see, this had to be like September 2017. I went on a vacation out to California to visit family. And when you're on vacation, I always call it your vacation brain, right? Where you're like, oh my gosh, all my stress is gone. I'm not thinking about work for just a second. And I feel like you get into your most creative, like genius zone self, because your like the energy that you have for your brain and for thinking is completely available to you, right? Like you're not bogged down with the day-to-day stuff at home or your house or your kids or your partner or work. It's like it's just free to you.
Your
So
mind
like
is
I
at rest. And
yes, yes,
yeah.
you get this rest. So I was on a vacation, and we're in the sunshine, and it was just like so easy. And I just said to my husband, I was like, I've got to quit. I just have to be done. I go, I feel like my spirit in the corporate world is just like getting smaller every day. And I'm a big personality. Like I have a lot to give. So I'm like, it felt icky to feel small like that. And like I just went with very little energy every day. And I really didn't care what happened in the day. And I thought, I don't want to live like this. So we got back, and I said to my husband, I go, if I can come up with a financial plan, like a budget that proves that we have a few years worth of living expenses to like hold us tight if we don't make any money, what do you think about me leaving our job? Now my husband was running our real estate investing business. So he had retired from the corporate world, and I was the one that was working full time and had, like our insurance benefits and the salary and all that was kind of making us feel safe while he was picking up our real estate business. So it was like, wait a second. So we're both going to be fully self-employed here. So that was really scary. But again, after this vacation, I was like, I can't look back. I've already made the decision. It has to happen. So I will figure this out. So we just really scrutinized our finances. And I think it was about 6 months later. It was like the plan determined that like in May 2018 or something like that. It was April or May 2018 that I could call it quits. So I did that. And the first thing I did was actually not get to work. The first thing that I did was I just took 2 weeks off and did nothing to the point of boredom, because I realized if I did not do that, I would probably never have another chance in my life to just be bored. So, so I just let myself be bored. And then after that, like I had, before I had left the corporate world, I had developed, I kind of operated off of the systems that I had shared with you, like I was creating, which was created my life vision and business vision and strategy and my plan for the next 90 days, like everything I had to achieve. So I had kind of already had that like waiting for me when I got done with this little break and my boredom break. And then I just got to work. And I will say over the past 2 years, our business has changed dramatically, like in a very wonderfully scary way. So when we first started, I was like, I want to create a productivity planner, because how I do the productivity stuff, it actually starts with like a methodology of what do you do every day to get your stuff done in the most effective way. So we start there. So I was like, I want to create a planner. I'm going to make this wildly successful planner. And I really had no experience with creating a product. I had no experience with the print world. I had, oh my gosh, no experience with sales. So like, I feel like I'm good at sales if I think about it from the standpoint, like I'm an educator. But the idea that there's some pressure that like I have to make sales, I like crumble. So it's just not how my brain works for whatever reason. But so we started with this planner and this methodology, and we were almost like maybe we're a lifestyle company, like about well-being and whatever. And what happened was people started like tapping into me for my other experience that comes with, okay, well, I want to develop a company. I want to have a vision, and I want to break that down into the little pieces. And then I want you to show me how to implement that using your productivity methodology in the planner. So our company really changed from like, we were thinking it would be lifestyle, and it turned into, we almost 100% of the time work with businesses or budding businesses to like give them that edge and that clarity and that focus. So we're actually in the midst of like switching up our entire website, because our website isn't even like accurate to who we are anymore. So anyhow.
Nice. So talking about that, so we were kind of talking before we hit the record on this, but with any company, there's struggles. So is there something that you are struggling with, not a hard struggle, but just something that has come up for you that maybe you want to share and we can kind of talk about?
Yes, I would actually love that. I am a fan of transparency and vulnerability, so I am here to put it all on the table. So the biggest thing for us is, I just mentioned like a little bit earlier, like I struggle with the idea of sales. And I don't want to say the other day, a few months ago, I kept thinking, I want more clients. We want more business clients, but how do we get them? And I realized I had never tried to actually sell what Boldly & Co. can provide. We've only just, like I've maybe put a post on Facebook or done something like that, and people have become our customers very naturally. Or someone, a client will tell another client about us, but I've never actually like gone out to seek clients. So here I am being like, I need more clients. I want more clients. And I'm not doing anything to get that. So I think one of my struggles, or I know one of my struggles is I feel like I don't know how to sell. Do I approach a business? How much information do I give? Who do I go to? You see a lot, for example, about funnels and social media. And I'm like, I do not even know where to start when it comes to that stuff. So that's kind of my thought is like, what's a good way to go out and get more business?
I think there's a lot of answers to that question.
And my brain just doesn't even go there. Like for me, I'm
it
like,
feels very overwhelming, right?
yeah, it's not my strong suit. I've never done it before. If you get someone in front of me who's interested in generally like what we do, I can make the sale because I'm so passionate about what we do. But getting them in front of me, like on my own terms, I don't know how to do that. Or maybe I just think I don't. I don't know.
I think that you think you don't. I think that's a limiting belief because actually, if you think about it, you kind of just answered your own question.
Yeah.
So really, the way I see it is, first of all, you are so passionate about what you're doing, and that totally comes through with even how you're talking. Like I can see it on your face, I can hear it in your voice, and that resonates with people when they know like you're in your zone and you're so passionate about something. That translates. And so first thing is creating content, with you talking about it, if you plan to be the face of your company.
Yeah.
Which
I am.
Makes total sense because, it's who you are. This is something that you love doing and you want to promote this. So it's really like developing the content with your face, videos, especially where you're talking about what you're doing. But the biggest thing is to talk about what problem is this going to solve for people?
Right.
And that's I think where the focus, first of all, like in the content portion of that, like focusing on that, what problem do they have that you are going to solve for them?
Yeah. And I think that's where I get tripped up because I have a lot of information to give, and I think I need to find a way to succinctly say, so let's like talk it out. So like what I would normally say is we can help you get twice as much done in less time. But to me, that doesn't, I don't know, maybe just because I'm so close to it, I feel like there's so much more. And that comes with like how we, like what our methods are and how we break down a vision into a plan and then how we implement it. Oh my gosh. Like I just have a hard time breaking that down into something succinct and measurable that, in a sentence or two, someone would go, oh, I get what you do.
So you just need that really good one-liner, what is it exactly that you do for people? And I think you just said it.
Yeah, we help you get twice as much done in less time.
Okay, so that's the first part of that.
Yep.
And then, well, how do you do that?
Say, okay, how do we do it? So,
but without going, if you're trying to keep it succinct, you don't have to go in all the details, right?
Yes. Yep.
So we do it with our productivity.
We do it with our proprietary productivity methods and tools, or maybe our proprietary productivity system.
Exactly. So that's your how. So this is what you do. This is how you do it. So those are two very succinct things, not a lot of long sentences where you're not having to go into the weeds. And then you can like break it down from there, I would think.
Yeah.
Like
I'm like, and I want to talk about culture and well-being. And so I think I
break that down. And so maybe what you do is you do like, just like what you would do with your planning stuff, right? So dump it all out, like dump out, here's your high level, like, okay, this is who I am. This is
literally about to take some notes right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
twice as much done
mhm.
in less time through our proprietary productivity system. Okay.
And then what is that gonna, what is that end picture gonna end up looking like for them after they do this stuff so that you can blah, 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 blah. So
I
now you're
like that.
saying what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how that's going to change their lives or affect them, or,
Yeah.
what is the
Yeah. So,
result going to be?
right. So I think it would be like your company can achieve more without needing to hire more, um, while improving overall well-being, which ultimately improves the culture. Okay, I gotta iron that out, but I feel like, see, I feel like I'm like, there's all these benefits.
But I mean, that's the nice thing, because you can create one short video that just hits the bullet points of those things. So again, with the, here I am, here's what I do, here's how I do it, here's how it's going to help you. And then you can throw a few bullet points in there, and that's the end of that video.
Yeah.
Or now you have the opportunity to go into more detail. Like, we're going to talk about, digging into your creating your vision, and then you can talk about how you do that and break that down into something. And then we're going to
Mm-hmm.
talk, like whatever all the parts are of your proprietary plan, break those down into their own, um,
Yeah.
ads or videos or whatever, but just so that you're creating content that's always speaking to what you can do and how it's going to help people.
Yes. Yeah. In the past, I get nervous to talk about, like, wow, Boldly's so great because, um, growing up, my dad used to always say, like, you don't brag about yourself. Like, you let your achievements do the talking for you. I think he was afraid that us as children, like, might come off in the wrong light if we, exhibited a behavior that was like braggadocious or something like that. So I'm somebody, like, I take what my dad says like very seriously and to heart. And I'm just like so in awe of him and respectful of him and our relationship. And I feel like he's such a wise person. And in those messages, that I got as a kid, I carry through with me today, and I'm obviously like applying them now to like something totally different. But I think I have to be aware of that. Like, I'm applying this idea of me not bragging as a kid into, like, well, I'm trying to create a company here. I need to be the biggest fan of what we do and be able to express that. And it's okay to express that.
Right. And that's what I was going to say too. Just when hearing you say that, like, it is okay,
Yeah.
it's not that you're bragging or anything, but it's really just, if you want to look at it like, there's proof of concept here, you can actually say,
Yeah.
like, this work. And it's not that you're bragging, but you could say, I developed this program, and, implementing this has increased our productivity, this much, and our retention this much. Like, there's facts tied to this, so that it's not just like,
Yeah.
I'm amazing, look what I did. It's
Yeah.
like, I created this, and this is what happened. And
Yeah.
this is why this is important, and why I think this is a useful thing for, for people to have, because there's proven results behind that. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
just, and I think adding that in is like really, would
Proven
be really
results.
powerful, so that people could see, like, they're not only hearing it, but then there's that proof of concept where it's like, okay, this person used this system and they got these results, and there's
Yes.
no disputing of that. It's not a
Yeah, it's a
bragging, it's just
fact, right? It's
facts.
just,
Yeah, there's just
yeah.
straight facts.
Yeah.
And that combined with like referrals, any testimonials, referrals from people, kind of things, like, the best
That's
thing that you can do for any business is to create raving fans. And I'm a
yeah.
big believer in that. I mean, just like in
Very
a real
cool.
estate, like almost all the deals we've done recently have strictly been based on referrals.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and no money marketing spent on that, just
Right.
referrals. Because
Yeah.
when you provide something, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a real estate transaction or selling a productivity, plan or anything like that. Like, I totally lost my train of thought.
We're talking about referrals. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you create those people that are such fans, like, you don't have to sell, they sell for you.
Right. Right.
They become the fans, they become the advocates. You want advocates for what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think that's another thing. I think I get nervous about asking people for referrals or a testimonial or to share something. Okay. Again, another mindset thing. I also grew up with the idea, and I think it's kind of who I am as well, is I never want to inconvenience somebody.
Mm.
So I will not ask for something that I need because I don't want to inconvenience them for their time or their energy, or I don't want to feel like I owe them something. So I think I've got to break through that and just get brave for an email or a moment and be able to ask for some of these things. And it's funny, I have clients that say, can I give you a testimonial? And I'll be like, oh yeah, sometime. Yeah. Like, what's wrong with
Well, you
me?
need to get those. That's part of your marketing, girl. You need to get those testimonials,
Oh
because the
my
more
gosh.
people that are talking, getting the word out there for you. I mean, it's less work that you have to do. And again, it goes back to, you don't have to brag about yourself. Other people are bragging for you.
Right.
They're
Right.
like, I'm
Yes.
using this thing. I just talked to a client this morning. I interviewed her, and they're using your planner and they love it. And I'm sure that she would probably be happy to give you a testimonial,
Yeah.
on what
Yeah.
it's done for them and
I
how
gotta
they're
get
using
with the
it.
program.
But one of the things, something you do, but one of those things, something that might make it easier is just to make it part of your process. Don't look at it as like you're making an ask. Just look at it as like, they bought something from you, and say, I'd love your
Yes.
feedback. Thank you for purchasing, this or whatever. And then I'd really love your feedback. If you could, drop me a few lines, just let me know how you're liking it, how it's working out for you. If you see a need to improve anything, maybe, and just doing something small like that, and then asking their permission to use that as a testimonial,
Right. Oh my gosh, I'm taking all the notes right now.
But then it's just part of, so I do that with the podcasting. I always send a thank you, and then I ask, hey, if you know somebody else that might be interested,
Right.
send them my ways. That way I can give them some more information or whatever. And same thing with like selling houses, getting those
Mm-hmm.
referrals. That's just part of our process. At the closing table, when everything's done, we ask right there on the spot for that referral. Would you
Yeah.
as a testimonial? It's part of our process.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
great. It's making me even think too, like maybe one of the easiest ways for somebody to give a referral that's the most impactful is a video. Literally record yourself for 1 minute, send me the video, I'll take it from there. And then
Mhm.
they're done with it. There's no thought behind it. I feel like when you want people to like write something, it's like some people have like a block with it. Maybe it's like just record yourself and send it over.
Yeah. And you
So
can give people different options to do that too, because maybe some people, especially older people, aren't always comfortable making a video.
yeah.
So it's like, here's a form, or here's if
Yeah.
you don't mind, answering this survey or whatever. Like, you can even do like a Survey Monkey thing that just has like 3 questions and then a place for them to like type in something. That could be
Right.
one thing. Or you can leave a video review here and have some kind of like, there's so many automations and stuff now. I think there's Broadly, I think, is one of them,
Okay.
where you can
Probably, let me write that
actually
down.
like upload somebody's email address, and then they will um, ping them like after the transaction, and just like, here's a link to Google to leave a review, or to Facebook or whatever. And then
Oh,
actually embed
cool.
them in your website too, if you want.
That's cool. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
awesome. I just realized here just how many weird mindsets and blocks that I have that are like not real.
No. I mean, I think you could sell the heck out of this stuff if you just speak up about it. That's the big thing, is just getting out there and telling everybody what you're doing and how it helps, and getting other people to advocate for you,
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
doing.
I
And
think you're right.
I mean, that's like, and all that's just organic. That doesn't even count like the creation of content and then throwing some money behind it, like doing some sponsored ads or whatever.
Right.
Things
Right.
like that. Like, but you don't have to spend a ton of money either getting stuff out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. I am literally
Yeah.
like, I just need to put my head down and like really think about this and have a plan and be able to be my own biggest fan and share my facts and share what it's doing. And if I can do that in a succinct way, I think I've really got something. So awesome. Thank you. This has been awesome. I'm like energized now.
Good. And reach out too. Like, I'm sure you have a customer list. Like, reach out to all those people that have bought from you already, or went to your website. You've got an email list somewhere, I'm sure, and just reaching out to them and just, hey, how's it going with the planner? And, can I get some feedback from you? And just always be communicating with the customers, because they're going to tell you what they want, what's working, what's not working, and give you ideas too, even for like other things that you might need to do. Like, for example, like I was talking to the client this morning, and one of the things that she and I were talking about was just like brain dumping, and how that can be like so overwhelming and everything. And then, so I ended up creating like this brain dump task organizer sheet for her. And I was like, I actually need this for myself too. Cause brain dump, I think we talked about this on the More podcast. Cause I'm like, I dump it all out. It's like, oh my God, there's so much stuff on here. Like, how am I going to get through all this? And she was talking to me about that, about her feeling of overwhelm, going, looking at all the stuff on the list. And we finally came up, I said, you know what, I'm going to create something to help with this. Cause I think the brain dump's important, but then like, how do we kind of organize and work on all these things in the right way, make sure we're working on the right things, making sure that things with deadlines are getting done, all that kind of stuff. But that came from a customer's need, need I myself even had. So when you're asking them, that also, helps with innovation.
Yeah. I love that. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Yes. Thank you for coming on and sharing everything. And do you want to let people know how they can get a hold of you or find your products and things?
Yes, absolutely. So the best way to reach us is by going to our website, and it's www.boldly, BOLDLY and co. So ANDCO.com. So boldlyandco.com. That's the best way. We're also on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram for Boldly and Co.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nina. This was very fun. And I'm going to look at this planner myself, because I kind of got away from the planner thing, but I probably need to get back into it.
Well, I want to say one thing that we're going to start doing is will be selling. I have all of our system bottled up into video courses. So we are going to actually start selling the teaching about the methodology. So that could be a really great option for you, because if you're someone who's like, I'm kind of outside of planners now, I'm not into that, you should still learn the methodology, and then you can adapt that like however you need. So that could be something.
Very cool. Well,
I'm trying to sell my stuff.
See, there you go, girl. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Sell yourself.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.